welcome into the Mountaineers Now post-game show. I'm Skylar Callan. Joined with me, as always, former West Virginia running back Eugene Napoleon. Mountaineers falling in Lubbock today, 48-10 against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. There's a whole lot to unpack with this one, and before we start getting into our analysis of this game, we're going to go ahead and run through some of the stats. Individually, JT Daniels had, without a doubt, his worst day as a Mountaineer, going 23 of 36 for a $194, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. The running game, which has been good, so good for the Mountaineers this season, was just non-existent today. 76 yards total as a team on 25 carries, averaging 3 yards a carry. The lone touchdown of the game was to Bryce Ford Wheaton. He finished today with 5 catches and 53 yards. As for Texas Tech, the true freshman Baron Morton throws for 325 and 2 touchdowns. Brooks goes for 2 touchdowns and 107 yards on the ground. Xavier White, obviously, there you see with the big day, catching the ball 139 yards. Quickly here, too, I want to go over a couple of key stats for the team. Texas Tech showed how much respect that they had, or lack thereof, of West Virginia's defense from the very get-go, going for it on fourth down time and time again. They were 6 of 7 on fourth down. They converted their first 5 on the day, finished with 595 total yards to West Virginia's 270. And yeah, this one's a bit of a storyteller too. 242 to 76 in terms of rushing yards. That is just not going to get it done. So, Eugene, I mean, where do you start with this one? I mean, I don't know if you talk about the lack of offense, the poor defense, the poor coaching. I don't know where you go with this one. So I'm going to let you decide where we start.
Let me say this. 48-10. Okay. Everybody has a role. I don't look at Texas Tech and what they did going for it repeatedly on fourth down as disrespectful. What I look at is stop it.
Yeah. If you stop it, they're going to stop going for it.
Stop it. So what they did was open up an opportunity and put everybody on notice that this is who we are. Here's what we're going to do. Until you stop it, we're going to continue to do it. So my thing is, I realize by looking at where we are in the standings in the Big 12, and I think we are second to last. I think Iowa State is last, and then there's West Virginia. I'm not used to seeing West Virginia last in anything. So let me start by saying that I am not used to seeing West Virginia last in anything. So, or second to last, whatever. I was talking to my wife on the way. She had an away game. They started their preseason, as everybody knows. Well, if you don't know, she's a basketball coach at Middlesex College. And they played 4 games today in a jamboree up in New York, right? They won 3 out of 4. Wow. So here's my key. And as we were talking, we talk about roles. Everybody has a role. So even people who polish shoes have a role. Yeah. Shoe polish. You need shoe polish to polish shoes. You can't go someplace with dirty shoes. Okay. Everybody understands their role, right? Okay. When you come into somebody's house, in this case, Lubbock, Texas, Texas Tech, and you're both 3-3, it's not like one team is vastly more superior than the other. You're both 3-3, so you're both trying to find your footing. 48-10 gives you enough of a glimpse to understand where you are right now as a program, because you both came in 3-3. Yep. Whoever wins this game opens up an opportunity, because now that makes it 2 games. You're sitting outside 2 games before you're bowl eligible. You lose this game, and it kind of shows you where you really are in this conference.
Yeah.
It's really just that simple. See, so I'm an old school guy. I don't get into all of the other hype about anything else. I only look at what I see. And what I saw today was, unfortunately, Time and time again, it's almost like we really didn't know what we were doing. It looked as though we didn't know what we were doing in any phase of the game, from offense to defense and special teams. And I'll say this once again, that comes down to coaching. I'm not talking about the effort of our fine players, because players are going to play. You put them out there, they're going to do their job. They're going to play. But if it looks as though they're not prepared to play, therein lies a much bigger problem. So I'm going to say it again, 48-10. That's all I need to see. We said this going into this game. We didn't need any. There was such a small margin and room for error. You could not lose this game because the rest of the schedule is so top heavy that this was a game that, and I hate to say this, it was a game that it was a must win. We really needed to win this game.
Yeah, and if you remember, or if you watched our show on the Walkthrough Game Day show, we talked about how the rest of the schedule, they were going to have to face the top three teams in the league and the three bottom teams in the league. This was one of the three bottom teams in the league. You still got to play the three top teams in this league, and you just got your butt handed to you by 38 to one of the bottom three. And I mean, you are looking at a situation now where West Virginia has to win 4 of the last 5 games to get the bowl eligibility. 4 of the last 5. And if they don't do that, and they finish 5-7 or worse, that makes 3 losing seasons in 4 years under Neal Brown. The only non-losing season was the COVID-shortened season where they went 6-4. Had they played the full length where there was 2 more games, who knows to say who's to say they wouldn't have finished 6-6 that year? I mean, no one knows. But for me, when I think of a program like West Virginia, 3 losing seasons in 4 years, that's enough that's more than enough to lose your job. And again, you and I, we're not sitting here advocating for Shane Lyons to make it or to make this move and fire him. We're just pointing out the facts like, hey, you look around elsewhere. The team that West Virginia just played today, Texas Tech, Matt Wells got fired.
Yes.
Last year. And it wasn't even nearly as bad. So, I mean, I'll let you figure this out, or I'll let you take this over while I look at Matt Wells' stats, because I kind of wanted to compare that real quick.
Listen, when you talk about a man basically being moved on, winning 10 games a year, 9 games a year, all right? Coach Stu, God bless him.
Yeah.
Okay? And you move on from him, once again, winning 9 games a year, 10 games a year, going to bowls. What do you do with 3 losing seasons in your first 4 years? What do you do with that stat?
I mean, to me, if this game were to happen, say the first game of the year, okay, and they kind of struggled along, but they found some wins and stuff. They found a little bit of momentum, but maybe they finished 6-6, 7-5, whatever. You can kind of get past that. You got beat 48-10 in that first week, right? Because you're going to improve.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
You lose 48-10 midway through past the midway point of the season. That's showing me where your program is at, and it's not going in the right direction at all. You look at this matchup between West Virginia and Texas Tech before Neal Brown got to West Virginia. Do you know how many games West Virginia beat Texas Tech in a row? 5 straight years they beat Texas Tech.
I know.
5 years. They've lost 4 straight to Texas Tech, which is considered to be one of the bottom 2 or 3 teams in this league almost every single year. And I'm just like, I'm really honestly at a loss for words, because I don't know what this means. How much longer, if you're Shane Lyons, like how do you remain patient? I'm seriously just asking an honest question. How do you remain patient when your football team just got beat by nearly 40 and over halfway through year number 4 of your head coach. I don't know how you do that.
I don't even think it's a question of how do you stay patient. I think it's a question of how you have to be completely honest with yourself at this point and walk in your own truth. Because the reality of it is, our program went from being, and again, I don't care what people think about, oh, well, that was then, this is now. Your program cannot slide that fast and that quickly backward when you were at a point where you actually turned the corner. And regardless of what people thought about Dana and what he was doing, prior to that, the West Virginia brand, still a national, well-respected brand.
Is
Okay.
it now?
And the question is, and that's a very legitimate question, my friend. Sir, I'm going to answer that. When you lose 48-10 with a team that is 3-3, and that propels you to the second worst team in your conference, no. It's not a respected brand, because young people who watch this sport, they like to see when they want to see teams that are winning. And if you're not winning, they want to see teams that are progressing, trending upward, because they feel as though if they come to your program, they want to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
They don't want to be part of the stagnant position that you're in and year out. This is why recruiting is so important, but you can't go and lose 48-10 with a team that you're both on the same, you're 3-3. Now, if that game was a 20-17 game, if it was even a 21-14 game, I'm okay with that. Believe it or not, I am. But 48-10 shows me how far we are off the mark. That's my point.
To me, I think it's about consistency, because last week you beat Baylor. Now, again, I don't know how much you take into that, because if you really think about it, if Blake Shapen, their quarterback, doesn't go down with an injury, does that change the outcome of the game? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, the defense for them was not playing well either. So, I mean, maybe not. But still, you're looking at this situation where you beat Virginia Tech, you have a chance to turn the corner and beat Texas. You don't do that. You beat Baylor, you have a chance to turn the corner, beat Texas Tech. You don't do that. I want to read this to you because I want to get your thoughts on this. Neal Brown, after beating Virginia Tech, said this to the media. I think the story of our downturn was probably exaggerated. The very next game that they played after he said that, they lost 38-20 at Texas. And we all know that that score was not indicative of what actually happened.
Right.
Last week, Neal Brown, after beating Baylor, I think the demise is kind of getting ahead of itself. And we know what happened today, Gene. 48-10. What are your thoughts on those two quotes? Because to me, I don't know, because I'm not going to speak from a fan's perspective, but
right.
I think what the problem that I'm seeing with the fans, and I've had a few message me already as we're sitting here taping this, that are commenting on this tweet or sending me the tweet in my DMs. They're saying, I don't want to hear this stuff from him. Don't want to hear it after a win. Put two wins together first. String 3 wins together first. Then you can start talking about that stuff.
And you're asking my opinion?
Yeah.
My opinion is I agree with the fans. Listen, don't give me quotes or don't give me any lead or segue into any other conversation until you start doing exactly what you're asking the fans to do, right? Trust the climb. Well, then if you're asking me to trust the climb, give me something to trust.
Boom.
Because I can't trust the climb and we just lost 48-10 with a team that's 3-3.
Yeah.
I can't. So for me, again, I'm a realist. You see what I have on. I love my university. Played there, graduated from there. So this is not hate talk. This is reality talk. You cannot lose to Virginia Tech 48-10 and look the way that you look in the loss.
Yeah.
okay, and expect to come back and give me any kind of quotes. You can't do it. As I said, the point my wife was making with the whole shoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. Everybody has a role to play, my guy. So what role is Coach Brown playing in this season? We all have a role to play. What role is he playing? Give me a quote for that, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think everyone wants to see consistency strung together before we start trying to take shots at whether it be the media or the overreacting fans. Listen, the fans are passionate. They
It
want
should be.
something that they can believe in and trust in. And again, like you said, they have to have something to trust that's not been there. By the way, I want to throw this in there real quick. Matt Wells was fired, and his record was 13-17, and he was in year 3 when he was fired. He was 4-8, 4-8, or no, 4-8 and 4-6 the COVID year. The year he got fired, he was 5-3. He was turning the program. So
Too slow.
I just wanted to say that. So
I'm sorry, too slow. You
yeah.
was turning the program too slow. 5-3, you got to go. Year 3, got to go. Yeah.
That shows you the difference. Why the patience is existing in Morgantown. Again, can't be explained. So, Gene, we could go on for this for about an hour. I know we don't want to do that. We maybe bore some people to death. But anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at the road ahead for West Virginia here. 5 games left in the season. West Virginia sitting at 3-4. Again, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to have to win 4 of their next 5 games to get to bowl eligibility. They got number 8 TCU at home next weekend, and then they go on the road for Iowa State and then return home for Oklahoma. Quick thoughts: can West Virginia get to bowl eligibility? And if not, why?
Cannot get to bowl eligibility playing the way we play today, looking the way we look today, playing is inconsistent in all 3 phases of the game the way we play today. You will not get to bowl eligibility looking like that. I'm sorry. As much as I love our program and our fine university and our fans, you will not. Now, if that does not happen, there is no conceivable way that any coach in any program on any level would probably be hired back after 4 years when you look at the progression of the program. Because the key would be, where was the program when you took it over? And then 4 years later, where's the program now? So when you only look at that in that period of time, where was it when you first took it over when we hired you, and where is it now? After the season, everything you need to know to answer that question is already sitting right in front of you.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm sure a decision would be made that would be appropriate for both parties.
And I'll leave everybody with this. In today's world of college football, programs are being turned around like this.
Right.
Sonny Dykes has TCU undefeated in the top 10. Chris Kleiman was hired the same year as Neal Brown. You see where that team's at.
Right.
This guy right here, Joey McGuire for Texas Tech, it's his first year. They're 4-3, and they just handed it to West Virginia. So, Lance Leipold, Kansas. I could go on forever. But
well, don't forget, Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor.
You're right.
In today's climate, 4 years is more than enough time. And in some instances, probably twice, double the amount of time that it should take. So I think with the transfer portal, with, I guess NIL a little bit, but mainly more so transfer portal, you're seeing programs being turned around very quickly. There's no excuses for, we got to wait till the depth gets here. We got to wait for this to get here. We got to wait for this to get here. West Virginia knew its deficiencies for this year back in last January.
Right.
And they have swung and missed on some of those guys, and they did not attack the transfer portal in certain areas the right way. So that's going to do it for the Mountaineers Now postgame show. Again, West Virginia falling 48-10 to Texas Tech on the road. They're going to return home next week to face the top 10 ranked TCU Horned Frogs. I'm Skylar Callahan. With me, as always, Eugene Napoleon. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. You can follow us on Twitter, Mountaineers Now, myself, Callahan _, and Eugene, and Napoleon _Eugene. Eugene will have his Relatively Sports show again on Monday at 6 o'clock. Between the Ears will be on Tuesday at 6, and then we'll also have the Walkthrough Game Day show next week at Thursday at 6 o'clock. So until Monday, everyone have a safe weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.